I understand English but I can't speak well. Lena understood every word. Movies, songs, articles, her comprehension was remarkable. Yet, speaking remained elusive. Her thoughts raced in perfect English, but her mouth felt glued shut. This common dilemma plagued her daily existence, a frustrating barrier between knowledge and expression. She desperately yearned to articulate her ideas and engage freely. The desire to speak well burned within her. She knew countless phrases, understood complex grammar, but forming spoken sentences felt monumental. I understand English but I can't speak well, she often silently lamented. This disconnect was profoundly disheartening, making her feel isolated in conversations where others conversed effortlessly and fluently. She realized a drastic change was needed. Simply understanding wasn't enough, active production was the key. Lena decided it was time to embark on a structured journey. Start step by step talking, she told herself, recognizing that small, consistent efforts would eventually lead to significant progress. The path seemed daunting. Her first step involved identifying simple, everyday phrases. Greetings, basic questions, simple descriptions. She practiced them aloud, alone in her room, whispering at first, then gradually increasing her volume. This wasn't about perfection, it was getting her mouth accustomed to English sounds, building crucial muscle memory slowly. How to learn English became her constant inquiry. She consumed every piece of advice she could find online. Many experts emphasized consistency and immersion. Lena started labeling items around her house in English, and narrating her daily activities, sometimes whispering them softly aloud for practice. Learning English, she discovered, was not a sprint but a marathon. It required immense patience and persistence. She dedicated a specific time each day, even just 15 minutes, to active learning and speaking practice. This routine solidified her commitment, turning a daunting task into manageable goals. Improving her fluency was a top priority. Fluency wasn't just about speaking fast, she learned, it was about speaking smoothly, naturally, and with minimal hesitation. She sought techniques to bridge the gap between her deep understanding and her actual verbal output in daily interactions. One powerful technique she explored was shadowing. Listening to native speakers and immediately repeating what they said, mimicking their intonation and rhythm. This felt awkward initially, but it trained her mouth and brain to work together, improving pronunciation and speaking speed simultaneously and effectively. Why you should practice speaking? This question often echoed in her mind during moments of doubt. The answer was clear: practice built confidence, solidified knowledge, and revealed areas needing improvement. Without speaking, English remained an academic subject, not a living, breathing language for communication. Overcoming the fear of making mistakes was absolutely crucial. Lena understood that errors were an unavoidable, natural part of learning any new skill. Each mistake was a valuable lesson, not a reason for shame. Embracing imperfection allowed her to step out of her comfort zone. How to improve your English holistically? She realized it wasn't just about speaking. It was a multifaceted approach involving listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Each skill reinforced the others, creating a powerful synergy. Neglecting one area would hinder progress, so a balanced strategy was key. Listening became a foundational pillar of her daily routine. Podcasts, audiobooks, and interviews filled her commute and downtime. She didn't just passively listen, she actively paid attention to pronunciation, common phrases, and natural conversational patterns, deepening her comprehension abilities. Why reading is so important. Lena soon understood its profound impact. Reading expanded her vocabulary, exposed her to various sentence structures, and reinforced grammatical rules in a natural context. It provided a rich source of input, building her mental library of English expressions. She started reading diverse materials, simple news articles, short stories, and even online forums. This exposed her to different writing styles and topics, enriching her understanding and providing her with more content to potentially discuss with others, broadening her linguistic horizons. Reading aloud was another powerful technique she embraced. It combined the benefits of reading with active speaking practice. She would pick a paragraph and read it slowly, focusing intently on pronunciation and intonation. This bridging exercise greatly connected the written word with its spoken form. The challenge of how to speak with people still loomed large. This was her biggest hurdle, filled with apprehension. The thought of engaging in real-time conversation filled her with anxiety. Her vocabulary was adequate, but the pressure of instant response often paralyzed her. Her first attempts were timid, cautious steps. She joined an online language exchange group, preferring text chat initially. This allowed her to formulate thoughts without the immediate pressure of speaking aloud. It was a gentle introduction to interactive communication, slowly building her crucial confidence. Gradually, she moved to sending voice messages within the group. This offered a comfortable middle ground between real-time conversation and pure text. She could record, listen, and re-record if needed, practicing her spoken output without immediate pressure, slowly improving her comfort level. Finding a consistent language partner was truly transformative. She connected with a native speaker online who was also learning her native language. This reciprocal arrangement created a supportive, non-judgmental environment where both could practice and learn from each other's mistakes effectively. Their conversations started small, daily routines, hobbies, cultural differences. Lena focused on expressing simple ideas clearly, rather than striving for complex sentences. This simplified approach reduced her stress and allowed her to build conversational stamina, making the process less intimidating and more enjoyable for everyone. She learned to embrace active listening during conversations. Instead of mentally translating or formulating her next sentence, she genuinely paid attention to what the other person was saying. This improved her comprehension and allowed her to respond more naturally, enhancing the flow of dialogue. How to practice English daily became her new mantra. She integrated English into almost every aspect of her life. From changing her phone's language to watching English shows without subtitles, every small exposure counted, making English a part of her daily existence. Self-talk proved to be a powerful, underrated tool. She started narrating her day in English internally. "I'm going to make coffee now, this meeting is really long, what should I cook for dinner?" This constant internal monologue kept her English brain active and agile. Recording herself speaking was an eye-opening exercise. She would choose a topic, speak for a minute, and then listen back. This allowed her to identify pronunciation errors, awkward phrasing, and areas where her fluency faltered. It was like having a personal, objective speaking coach. She also started practicing answering common interview questions or describing her day as if speaking to someone. This simulated real-life scenarios, preparing her for actual conversations and reducing the mental block when faced with unexpected questions or topics in spontaneous interactions. Consistency was the ultimate game changer for Lena. There were days she felt tired, unmotivated, or simply too busy. But she committed to doing something, even if just 5 minutes of reading or listening. These small, consistent efforts compounded over time, leading to remarkable progress. Lena also understood the importance of celebrating small victories. Successfully ordering food in English, understanding a joke, or having a smooth 10-minute conversation, each achievement fueled her motivation to continue. Positive reinforcement was crucial for maintaining her long-term enthusiasm and drive. She discovered the joy of English media beyond just learning. She started enjoying movies, TV series, and music in English for pure entertainment. This made the learning process much less like a chore and more like a hobby, deepening her connection to the language naturally. Engaging with online communities became another vital resource for her. She joined forums related to her hobbies, participating in discussions in English. This provided a natural, interest-driven context for practicing writing and reading, and occasionally, she even engaged in voice chats. Learning vocabulary in context, rather than memorizing isolated words, proved far more effective. When she encountered a new word while reading, she'd try to understand its meaning from the surrounding sentences before looking it up, then immediately use it. Grammar practice, once a dreaded task, became more integrated into her learning. Instead of rote exercises, she focused on noticing grammar patterns in her reading and listening materials. When she made a grammatical error in speaking, she'd research that specific rule, making learning targeted. Developing an English persona truly helped Lena. She imagined herself as someone confident and articulate in English. This mental shift reduced her self-consciousness and allowed her to project a more assured speaking style, tricking her brain into believing she was already proficient. She recognized that accent was less important than clarity of speech. Her goal wasn't to sound exactly like a native speaker, but to be understood clearly and confidently. Focusing on clear pronunciation and intonation, rather than perfection, reduced pressure and made speaking more enjoyable. The concept of fossilized errors concerned her deeply. These were mistakes that become ingrained if not corrected early. She actively sought feedback from her language partner and used self-recordings to identify and systematically work on these persistent errors, preventing them from becoming permanent. She learned to break down complex thoughts into simpler English sentences. Instead of trying to translate intricate ideas directly from her native language, she practiced simplifying her message, making it more accessible and easier for her to articulate, reducing cognitive load during conversations. Impromptu speaking practice became a regular routine. She would pick a random object or topic and speak about it for 1 minute without preparation. This trained her brain to think on her feet and organize thoughts quickly in English, simulating the spontaneity of real conversations. She kept a detailed mistake journal. After conversations or recording sessions, she would jot down common errors she made. This systematic approach helped her track progress and focus her improvement efforts, turning weaknesses into targeted learning opportunities for future practice sessions effectively. Engaging with different accents was also crucial for Lena's development. She listened to podcasts and watched shows featuring British, American, Australian, and other English accents. This broadened her comprehension skills, preparing her for the diverse range of English speakers she might encounter globally. Lena started actively participating in online English discussions. Initially, she contributed through typing, carefully crafting her responses. Gradually, she found herself responding to voice prompts and even joining live audio rooms, pushing her comfort zone incrementally but steadily forward. Learning about cultural nuances associated with English speakers also aided her greatly. Understanding common idioms, slang, and cultural references enriched her comprehension and made her conversations more natural and relatable, bridging the gap between mere language and genuine communication with others. The idea of thinking in English became less daunting over time. Initially, she translated everything in her head. With consistent practice, she found herself directly formulating thoughts in English, reducing the mental effort and significantly increasing her speaking speed and fluency. She created her own English bubble at home purposefully. She changed the language settings on her devices, cooked following English recipes, and even talked to her pet in English. This created an immersive environment, constantly exposing her to the language in a relaxed setting. The journey was not linear, it had its ups and downs. There were days of incredible progress and days of frustrating plateaus. Lena learned to accept these fluctuations as part of the process, reminding herself that improvement was gradual and consistent effort always paid off. Finding topics she genuinely cared about made practice more enjoyable and fruitful. Discussing her passions, her work, or her hobbies in English felt less like studying and more like engaging in meaningful conversation, greatly increasing her motivation and the quality of her spoken output. She made sure to review her progress periodically, a crucial step. Looking back at where she started and how far she had come was a powerful motivator. It reinforced the effectiveness of her step-by-step approach and sustained her belief in her ability to achieve higher fluency. The initial shyness slowly but surely faded away. With each successful conversation, each clearly articulated sentence, Lena's self-consciousness diminished significantly. She started to enjoy the process of speaking, viewing it as an exciting challenge rather than a daunting obstacle, transforming her entire outlook. Her ability to express complex ideas evolved dramatically. What once felt impossible now flowed more freely. She could discuss abstract concepts, share opinions, and engage in debates, a clear testament to her consistent dedication and the structured approach she had meticulously followed since starting. She also explored different accents for her own speaking, sometimes playfully. While primarily focusing on clarity, she occasionally experimented with mimicking certain accents she admired. This was more for fun and to improve her auditory discrimination, rather than a strict goal of accent neutralization. Lena started attending virtual meetups and webinars conducted entirely in English. These were excellent opportunities to listen to diverse speakers and to practice asking questions or participating in discussions in a semi-formal, yet supportive, environment, further expanding her communicative range and skills. Feedback from her dedicated language partner was absolutely invaluable. They pointed out nuanced errors in phrasing or word choice that Lena might not have noticed on her own. Constructive criticism became a powerful tool for refinement, helping her polish her English to a higher level of naturalness. She learned to accept her own unique voice in English. It wasn't about sounding like someone else, but about confidently expressing herself authentically. This self-acceptance liberated her from the impossible pursuit of a flawless native accent, allowing her to speak with genuine character and ease. The fear of silence and the awkward pauses gradually disappeared entirely. She learned to use filler words naturally or to simply take a brief moment to gather her thoughts without panicking. This made her conversations feel more relaxed and less pressured, significantly improving the overall flow. Lena also became a passionate advocate for other English learners, sharing her journey. Sharing her story and practical tips, she inspired others who faced similar struggles. Her transformation was irrefutable proof that with dedication and the right strategies, anyone could bridge the gap. Her English journey transformed her entire perspective on life. It wasn't just about learning a language, it was about profound personal growth, building unwavering confidence, and connecting with a wider global world. She became a more articulate, self-assured individual, embracing new opportunities with linguistic prowess. From silent comprehension to confident communication, Lena's story illustrates the power of a strategic, step-by-step approach to language learning. Her journey underscores that consistent practice, active engagement, and overcoming fear are truly the cornerstones of mastering spoken English, unlocking a world of possibilities for everyone.